it's Victoria, and we're going to talk about how to find the area of different types of triangles. So, first, to even solve the area of a triangle, you have to know the equation. And the area of a triangle, the equation is b times h divided by 2. And b stands for base, and h stands for height. So on a triangle like this, where it's obvious to see the base and the height, 3 is the base, 4 is the height, you could just do base times height divided by 2. So if we area equals 3 times 4 divided by 2. 3 times 4 is 12 divided by 2, and then the area equals 6. Sadly, I'm in the 9th grade and it doesn't work like this, ever. It's never this easy. So, for when it's not, you will have a triangle like this. Now these little tick marks right here means that these two side lengths of the triangle are actually equal to each other. So if this is 10, you could already say that this is 10. Because this tick mark means it's congruent to the other tick mark. Now, it doesn't mean necessarily this line right here. It's just these two are congruent to each other because of the tick marks, and that's the only way we know. Now, this is not the height of the triangle. The height is always perpendicular to its base. So we could actually not see the height of the triangle at the moment, but we're going to draw in a height. So right here is your height. Not a perfect line, but whatever. Right here is your height. Now if you notice, it's actually splitting this part in half. These are two more or less equal pieces if I drew it right. But you know because these two are congruent. So if this is half, if it's splitting this in half, both of these sides are 6. 6 and 6. Now because the triangle is a little bit more complicated, we have to use this theorem called Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now what that means is a squared being a leg plus b squared equals c squared. So let's pretend that's a right triangle for a second. So a squared and b squared represents the legs. So this would be a and this would be b, or b and a. It honestly really doesn't even matter. And then c squared would be the hypotenuse. This does matter. C squared is always like this. It's always the hypotenuse. So the c part is always the hypotenuse. So this squared plus this squared will always equal this squared. Okay, so let's go back to the problem. Let's say this is a squared, b squared, and c squared. You do not know b squared, but you know the equation for Pythagorean theorem. So what we're going to do over here is we're going to do 6 squared plus b squared equals 10 squared. Now you know 6 squared, 36, plus b squared equals 100. So like we did before, you have to do Pythagorean theorem for this kind of question. So you know that b squared, once you do the math, equals 64. Now this is the part you have to pay attention to. 64 is not the height. 64 is b squared. This 64 is the height squared. So you have to find the square root of 64, and b equals 8. You are not done with the problem yet though. So you have to put 8 right here, and now you have to do the equation of base times height divided by 2. The base of the entire triangle, which you will be using, is not the 6's. It's the 12. The whole base of the triangle is 12. So you will do 12 times 8 divided by 2. 12 times 8 divided by 2 gives you an area of 48. Let's say you cannot find the height in the triangle, and it's not a perfect right triangle because math does that to you sometimes. You will have to find the height of the triangle outside the actual triangle itself. If you didn't understand a word I said, that's okay because I'm going to show you. Alrighty, so this is the base. And, oh, oops, okay. There's a right triangle. Okay. So this is a right triangle. Now, I don't know if you've noticed so far, but we've made a right triangle out of every triangle that we've done so far, trying to find either the base or the height. So you need a right triangle for this in case you haven't caught on. So, using Pythagorean theorem, which is, 6 squared plus b squared equals c squared. C squared because this is the hypotenuse. So 6 squared plus b squared equals 10 squared. So b squared equals 64. So b equals 8. 8 is right here. So why do that? Because not every triangle is going to be a pretty perfect right triangle, or a triangle that you could find the height within it. So you could always count on an obtuse triangle to need to find the height on the outside of it. So once you do that, you do Pythagorean theorem. This does not count towards the base. It's 12 times 8 divided by 2, and then you once again get an area of 48, like the other one. Those are examples on how to find the area of different types of triangles. I hope you enjoyed the video.